Facebook shares are on fire this morning. This after the company reported a record profit last quarter. Now, daily active users continue to grow. That's a key metric. Average revenue per user came in at $7.37. That was a 21% increase from last quarter, up 19% from a year ago. That shattered analyst estimates. Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg spoke to Julia Boorstin last night about the safety and security challenges that the company faces.
We need a different approach to running our company, that we need to put so much effort into preventing the harm so that that harm, which is done by small people but risks drowning out the good. Because what we see every day on Facebook, and I think this quarter shows people see, are people connecting and sharing and using a product that matters in their lives, and we need to protect that experience.
So the question is, there's a couple questions here. First, have they turned a corner? Seems like maybe they did. Is the public not nearly as fickle as the conversation that we have around the table may suggest, meaning that, a lot of hand-wringing over privacy, all these questions, Zuck going to Congress, all of that, there was an expectation that it was going to slow growth down, A, because people were going to be less inclined to go on the service, B, because advertisers would be less inclined to advertise on the service. Does this suggest that actually maybe all of that was overblown?
It doesn't take away the issue of possible regulation. Whatever happens, there is still, I think, a potential for Congress to move on some of these issues, particularly because it involves elections and things that go along those lines.
And if you're an advertiser, though, you have to be there. They're the biggest force. So you literally don't have a choice. You have to be there as an advertiser. We haven't seen users fall off a cliff. And to your point, Andrew, maybe you were on that bubble and now you're sort of over it to a certain extent, where it's already combated the privacy issues. Users probably aren't going anywhere and advertisers aren't going anywhere. That means the stock is probably safe at this point.
Well, the regulatory cloud is real.
Right.
But the idea of a consumer backlash.
I don't know. I would have been more willing to say absolutely before we had that news yesterday about them paying 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds.
And by the way, she was asked
for some
about
of this
that.
information. Yeah.
She was asked about that. This is the idea. There was this Facebook research app that went completely against the Apple program, meaning Apple disallowed it, but they were doing it anyway. She made the argument that everybody who opted into it understood what they were doing, even if Apple didn't understand what they're doing.
But they were going against Apple's own guidelines with what they were doing.
I 100% agree with you. I think
and by the way, I don't care what you're doing with 18-year-olds and older, if they're signing on for that, but the idea that you're signing up 13 to 18-year-olds, 13 to 17-year-olds, and I, as a parent, don't get to sign off on that, I would be furious if I found out my kids had signed up for that and were getting $20 a month so that you could track their.
The question I have actually is whether Apple, because they broke Apple's rules in a material way, instead of just taking away what are called these, I think there's certain types of certificates that would allow them to use these are developer certificates for their employees, which is what they were using for this service. Whether they would ever just say, you know what, we're yanking you. We're yanking you. For 2 weeks, we're yanking you off the service. Now, the question is, if they did that, do they say to themselves, does Tim Cook say to himself, if I did that, then everyone's going to go to Android because I don't want to be. I can't be the arbiter here.
Right.
But it's very interesting if you have terms of service and people break the terms of service.
What do you do with it?
But if you're so powerful,
are you so powerful, or are they so powerful?
Who's got the power?
And who really wants to get into that battle?
Doesn't it feel though? And I get your point, Becky, and I agree, wholeheartedly. But doesn't it get to the point where you feel like this is a lot of noise? And I think that's what the public feels. If you're going to be on it, you're on it. You're not going anywhere.
I had gotten over all of my concerns about the privacy issues until we got that news yesterday. And again, it wasn't the adults. Any adult who signs off on this, whatever, that's your choice to go along with these things. It's the idea that you have teenagers on the site and you're asking them and they're not equipped to be making these decisions. I know they're not reading the terms of service closely, and I know they don't have an understanding of what they're signing away. And you're asking them without going through me.
Sure.
That to me puts me back on these questions. And I had gotten through and passed all of it until yesterday.
Right.
That's creepy. It's bad behavior.
Right, and it's kind of stunning that it's still happening.
That it's happening now after everything you've been through. The idea that that slipped past. What else is slipping past?
It's a question about leadership. It's a question about culture. It's a question about whether there's something rotten at the core.